Welcome to another edition of our new YouTube channel, Southeast Asia Vibes, The Good Life. My name is Victor. I'm a former resident of New York who now lives in beautiful and tropical Southeast Asia. I got fed up with the high crime, cold winters, and rat race of New York City. I now live the life of my dreams here in Southeast Asia, in Philippines, and have lived or traveled all over Southeast Asia, such as Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, etc. As long as you know what you are doing, you too can live the life of your dreams here in this tropical paradise at 90% cheaper than what you would pay in Miami or Hawaii with the same high standard of living. However, if you don't know what you are doing, it could mean a one-way ticket back home. As an expert and somebody who has lived or traveled all over Southeast Asia, I receive many emails daily from people who want to move here and escape the rat race, and they ask for my guidance. A lot of other YouTube videos, they tend to sugarcoat everything because they want views and subscribers, so they are not really being totally honest with you. I don't charge for my advice, but many people still feel very grateful as I take the time to answer all the questions and all your emails, or if you prefer a WhatsApp phone call, I do that as well. So because of that, many people are really grateful, and they ask me, can I make a small donation just to support your channel? We have it up in the description box below, as well as our email where you can ask your questions. Let's get started. In today's video, we're going to talk about Vientiane, Laos, which is the capital of Laos. Now, Laos is one of these countries where a lot of people are not familiar with. More people are familiar with Cambodia, and of course, everyone knows Thailand. Now, the reason that Laos is not as well known, it's just not as commercialized as these other countries. And that is one of the things that really attracted me, is that you didn't have these crowds like you have in parts of Philippines or Thailand, or even to a much lesser degree in parts of Cambodia. This Laos is a country, anywhere you go, where you're not going to get a lot of other tourists, and you're really going to get a vibe and a feel for the local culture. Specifically in Vientiane, the capital, I was walking around and I felt like I was in New Orleans in the United States. It's also incredibly cheap. Laos is really incredibly cheap. You will get Western-style hotels, restaurants for literally 90% less, okay? And as you can see by some of the photos of the hotels, they call hotels in this part of the world, they call them guest houses or pension houses. It means the same thing. It's basically a hotel. And you do really have to remember something about Laos. It's a developing country, and they have a lot of these activities, especially in more other parts of the country outside of the capital city of Vientiane. They have activities like, hot air balloons, or like zip lines, outdoor activities, caves. I found a lot of these in Vang Vieng, Laos. You just, again, keep in your mind this, again, it's a developing country. And because of that, some of these other activities, for example, use your common sense, like hot air balloons, there is an element of risk. Or going into caves, there is still an element of risk because, God forbid the cave collapses. So these countries, Laos, and like Laos, for example, you really have to keep your wits about you and put safety at the forefront of your mind. If you think there's any risk involved in any activity like hot air balloons, caves, zip lines, don't take the chance and do it. There's so many other things you can enjoy and you can do that are perfectly safe. Just keep your wits about you. Now, Vientiane is, again, it's a really beautiful city. There's parts of it that are very much Western standard. But, when it rains hard, the streets get totally flooded. So you have to keep those things in mind. It's a developing country. But for the most part, as long as you keep your wits about you, you will really enjoy a standard that you would back home for an incredibly cheap price. And I'm referring not only to hotels, but restaurants, malls, things like that. It's a beautiful, beautiful city, and I really encourage everyone to visit before it becomes another Thailand and the prices tend to become much higher. Laos as a whole, it's an incredibly beautiful country, steep, rich in culture and heritage. That's it for this edition of Southeast Asia, the good vibes. Until next time, take care, everybody.